so much for joining the show today, Dr. Westin. Your topic, incredibly important in today's global world in which we live. So, can you tell us why and how you chose a career in international relations and affairs?
It all started with a friend of mine, actually. And she wasn't a friend of mine. At the time, she was a colleague. And she asked me how to buy car insurance. She's from China. And she said one day, out of the blue, all because I started talking to her, and I said, "Hey, how are you? You okay? What's going on?" The next day she said, "Deborah, how do I buy car insurance?" And I said, "Who is helping this person? What kind of support is there for international students?" At this time I was working on my doctorate at BCU. That's how the whole path got started, and now we're best friends today, and I've been to China. And I've met her family, and it's just a delightful thing.
Wow. Well, how do you build relationships with internationals? What happens?
What I found for me is, because of my friend, Dr. Ju, I just learned to be more comfortable and compassionate. And it began with my dissertation. I wanted to study this. Who supports international students? What happens? That's how I began. And I began with compassion and learning what adaptability is. And learning to empathize, asking a lot of questions and listening to their responses and looking for ways that I could help them.
And why is this important?
Because we're a global world today. And I think about Thomas Frieden's book, The World is Flat. There were all these things that led up to the world being flat. The internet, the fall of the Berlin Wall, Google, 9/11. He points out all these different events. And it's important because we are indeed a flat world, and we have to really be sensitive to the needs of other internationals. Another reason is we are going global. There was an article in LinkedIn today by the McKinsey report, just today, on how global businesses are on the uprise, and it's moving very fast.
And what is your most memorable international travel and experience?
I'd have to say, well, it's a toss-up between Chile and China.
Oh, okay.
Probably at this point, and given the mood I'm in and what we're talking about, is my trip to China, because that was my first real international travel. And travel to work. It wasn't just a vacation.
Oh, okay.
And what I found was how we grew together. My most memorable part of that trip was how my female students always made sure somebody was holding my hand. And at the end of the 3 weeks, we were all crying. They did this big farewell, and I met a lot of their families because the summer program was over, and it reminded me of saying goodbye when I was in college. Definitely my most memorable part of the trip.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. And you're also certified to facilitate cultural diversity tests. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and why that's significant?
Sure. This is an examination. It's an assessment based on competency, and it's called the Intercultural Development Inventory.
Okay.
And what it does is it shows people how comfortable they are with relating to all internationals. And it takes the person through the 5 competencies. So, for example, are you in denial? All Asians are alike, for instance.
Okay.
Oh, all those Asians. No discernment between cultures. Are you polarized? Us versus them. Are you in minimization? Well, we're all one. We're all connected. Let's all just like each other, with no emphasis on differences. Are you in acceptance? Well, I want to know more. I can focus on the differences, and I want to learn more. I know that cultures are different. finally, the highest competency is adaptation. And adaptation is being bicultural, literally being able to move from one culture to the next. For example, Colleen, if you and I were in China and we saw a group of people doing Tai Chi, would we feel comfortable, or would you or would I feel comfortable just going up and joining in? Or in India, they call them laughter clubs. And there could be hundreds of people in a field in India doing Buddha laughing. Would we feel comfortable enough to join in? That's adaptation. So the competency-based assessment measures that ultimately to help people improve their cultural competence.
That's great. I think I'm going to have to see you later and see where I stand on that scale. What do you hope for the future?
I hope that at least we could break down barriers and focus on not only commonalities, but differences. And I hope that businesses will focus more on the people and not just business.
Is there hope for America?
What is your
advice? What is your advice to us?
Learn about other cultures. Study. Go to cultural events as often as possible. They're fun. Keep an open mind.
Great information and enlightening. Will you all help me thank Dr. Westin for joining us?
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. Well, thanks again for joining us today. And until tomorrow, this is Colleen signing off.